We'll be starting on lesson 4, how to build a basic assembly. First thing we did was we already did in lesson 3, we created our camera face. Now we're going to be creating the box and assembling the two parts together to make an assembly. So we're going to need to do the tutorials, tutorial 2. So we open up SolidWorks, under the help, SolidWorks tutorials. We're going to be looking at lesson 2, assemblies, creating a basic feature. So we will have a rectangle, and it'll be 120 by 120. So file, new part. I'm going to use the front plane, sketch, corner rectangle, start in this corner. Smart dimension at 120 millimeters. By 120 millimeters. We're going to extrude it to a depth of 90. Hit OK. We're going to fillet the corners with a radius of 10. All 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hit OK. And then we're going to shell it. So we're going to click on the face. We're going to click shell. We want a thickness of 4. So now we're going to save this as tutor 2. We're going to zoom into the area, so we right click, zoom into the area, select this to go in there, then we right click and click our select tool. We're going to select this face and then click on extrude cut, and then we're going to click on convert entities. We're going to click the front face again. We're going to click on the offset entities. We want to change this to 2 millimeters, and we want to make sure it's on the inside, so we hit reverse so that this line's on the inside, and then we click on the check mark. We're going to exit the sketch. So now we have our cut extrude. We want a depth of 20 millimeters. And we're going to hit OK. And we have this nice angle like this. And we can change the color of this. We can pick a color. We can pick a color over here if we want. And we can pick different colors, but it's not necessary. What we're going to do is we're going to We're going to hit File Save. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to create an assembly from the part. So we're going to hit File, New, Assembly. We have Tutor 2, so we can click, add that right there. And then we can insert component and browse for where our camera was. I think this is it. There we go. We click and drag and drop it, so now we got these two things here. We can zoom out a little bit. We can still drag this around, so it's a specific way. So now we have the new two parts in there. Clicked OK already. Now all we want to do is we want to mate these things. So what you want to do to mate is you have click on mate, and then you want to select things to mate. So like this part right here, would be good. Mating means stick together, so stick together with this part right there. So then hit OK. So now you see if I do this in 3 dimensions, you'll see that these are lined up in such a way. So next mate that I want to do is I'd like the inside of this box to be mated to the outside of this box, and then I hit OK. So now you can see they're kind of locked together. So the last part I would do, I would mate the outside of that box to the inside of this one, and then hit OK, and then hit OK again, and you'll see that we have just mated our camera together. So this is showing different mates. We're going to have it put together like that, and then congratulations, we just mated that together. So now that we've put it together, we can pick a view that we like, perhaps an isometric view here. Pick an isometric view, and we can do File, Make a Drawing from Assembly. We can close that up. We can drag one of the views that we like this one. We can make the size, make it a little bit larger. We can place the lines on it, or we can keep it scaled like this. And then we can annotation, put our name right here. You can change the font size. You can highlight it if I want this to be a larger font size. I can make it a larger font. I can make it bold. I can make it a different font if I would like. And then I can hit check mark, and then I can hit File, Save, and then I can hit File, Print, and I can send it to room 216, print it out, and hand it in to the teacher. Task 2 asks us to create this screw using these dimensions that are given to us. So I'm going to file, new, part, and we're going to sketch on the top plane. We're going to start with a circle, start right in the middle here. Zoom in a little bit. Smart dimension that to be 8 millimeters. We can extrude it. So that's 3 millimeters. We can select the top face, sketch on it, pick a center rectangle, and make this little rectangle just a little bit bigger than you want it to be. And the dimensions from here to here will be 2 millimeters. And then you go into features, extrude cut, and it's a depth of 1 millimeter. We hit OK, and you can see that we've created this cut on it. Right, so now we come on the bottom, select the face, do sketch, select circle, come back in the center, draw this out, make this smart dimension 3.5 millimeters. And then we come to features, extrude 15 millimeters. So you can see we've created something like this. And then the last thing we want to do, we want to fillet the edges. So we want to make these red edges rounder. So we're going to hit fillet, and it's only 3, so we probably want 1. Let's see, 1, both sides. That looks good, 1 millimeter. And then we're going to hit chamfer on this, and this 45-degree angle, and it says 10, but we don't want 10 because it's only 3.5 across. So let's start with 1 and put 1.5. Hit OK, and that looks just about right. So there we go. We have our switch plate screw, or nail. File, save as. We'll call it a nail or a screw. Hit save. Then we want to file open our switch plate. Light switch I have. We want to make an assembly, so file, make assembly from part. So light switch, click anywhere, there's your light switch. Insert component. Oops. File. Insert component. Browse. I guess this one. I don't know if I save it. Yep, there we go. There's our screw. we want to mate these. So we're going to mate. We're going to click the outside of this with the inside of this. Now that we have it lined up, we'll hit this face here. And then turn around, zoom in. We want to click on this inside face, hit OK. And you can see we have that all lined up nice. We can do the same thing with one more, hit OK. Insert component, browse, get another screw right there. Oops, drop it. Mate, line it up. Outside of this round, inside of that hole, hit OK. Outside of this face, zoom in, inside there, save, and then we just file, make drawing from assembly, save it as assembly too, okay, save, okay, pick our drawing, drag it over, use a better scale, 1:1, so we can see it here, hit OK, put our name over here, hit OK, and then we file save, print out, give it to the teacher. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to make an assembly from the CD storage box and the CDs that we have in here. Final product should look like this. So what we want to do is we want to open up, here's my CD storage box, and over here is my CD case. So let's look at the CD storage box. We can do an isometric view just to take a view of it. Hopefully you got your dimensions right on it, and we will file, make an assembly from this part, and we just click. Here's our storage box. Then we're going to insert a component, and that's the CD case. And I add that, so now I have both things in here. So I'm going to hit mate, and when I mate, I'm going to click the bottom of the box with, I'll zoom in here, the bottom of the CD. So that's mated together. And then I'm going to pick the back of the box with the back of the CD case and hit OK there. Oops, zoom out a little bit. So I can still slide this back and forth. I'll put this right in the middle, and I will put this on a front view, slightly sideways. And something I'm going to want to do now is I'm going to want to hit I want to do 10 millimeters. 10 millimeters. I'm going to put a mate on this face, and then move this over and do it on this face, and that slides right in there. I'm going to double click that in there, and you can see that my CD case is right in here. This is a space of 1 centimeter or 10 millimeters. Now I'm going to do the linear pattern. I'm going to, for this direction here selected, I'm going to come right up here to the edge, and I could see this arrow right here pointing to the right, and that's the direction I want it to be pointing. I want to make sure that this number is 25 because I want 25 CD cases. And what we're going to do is we're going to pick a pattern, and you can see that 6 centimeters fits perfect. If I put 5 millimeters, they're kind of all stuck together. If I put 10 millimeters, they're spread out too far. So what I want is I want to work with a little bit, make it fit. So 6 millimeters. So here I have 25 boxes in here, and we hit OK. And there it is. There's my CD case. My storage box has 25 CDs in there. I probably could put in 26 if I wanted. So I hit File, Save, and I'm done with that. Okay, so we only have what's left here is our mechanical claw. So we're going to pull up the center post and get the collar. We're going to mate those together. We're going to put all these pieces together to make our mechanical claw. So let's go to SolidWorks, File, New, Assembly. We want to browse our parts. Or DDP. All right, so we have our claw. So the first thing we're going to want is our center post. There we go, just drop it somewhere. And then we're going to insert a component, browse, same folder. We want our collar, open, put it somewhere. All right, so we're going to mate. We want this post and the inside of this collar. And there you go. Hit OK. Hit OK again. And you can see we have it mated together. So this is mated. It's a concentric mate. So it's fitted on there. And this is where we want it to be able to move up and down, but we don't want it to be stuck against the pole. We want it to be able to just slide in the same layer. All right, so next thing we're going to do is we're going to bring in the claw piece. So we have an insert component, browse to our folder, and we have our claw piece here. And just put it right there is fine. And what we want is we want to mate. We want to do a couple mates here. First thing is we want the inside of this circle to be concentric with the inside of this circle. Hit OK. And we want this side to be mated to this side, but we're going to want to flip this. So right here we have a flip. And we hit OK. So now we have this attached just like this. So this is together, it's attached. Pop this up. Hit OK. All right, the next piece we're going to want is our connecting rod. So insert component, browse, connecting rod, open, place this right here. Now this is the same on both sides, so it doesn't have to be in a specific order. We're going to have a mate, and we're going to have this circle concentric with this circle. And we can hit OK. We get OK again so that we can get this moved around specifically. And now we want to do a mate. Get rid of this. We don't want that. Delete. We want this circle to be mated with this circle here. Concentric. Okay? And we're going to want this face to be mated with, spin this around, this face. Hit OK. And we want this face, spin it around, to be mated with this face. We hit that twice. All right. So now we have these all joined together. So even though we don't have our bolts in here or our pins, because we mated them, they're all attached in there anyways, as if they do have pins within them. So we can open this up so that when we bring the pins in, it'll be a lot easier to do that. All right, so the next thing we're going to do is we have 3 types of pins, and we're going to insert a component, browse. Why don't we start with we'll bring all 3 pins in. We'll bring in a long pin, insert component, browse, bring in a medium pin, and insert component, bring in a short pin. So if we look at this, we want the pins to fit in here just perfect. So we could probably see right off the bat that our thickest distance for the long pin will be between these 2 spots right here. So let's start with our long pin, and we're going to hit mate, and we're going to have a concentric between this circle and this circle. All right, and we can flip the alignment, hit OK, because we're going to want this to go through the other side. And we can see that it fits just perfect. This goes in the hole. Fits just perfect in there. So what we want to do now, pull this out some more, is we want to do a mate. We want this edge with this edge, and you can see our pin fits flush, fits perfect. All right, so that was the long pin. We hit OK here. So now we got 2 more pins. There's our medium pin, and here's our short pin. I would say the short pin goes here. So let's do a mate. We want a concentric. We want the outside ring of that one. Move this over a little bit with the inside ring of that one. And that's facing the right direction, so we can just hit OK. And we want the ring here. Move this around to be flush there. We hit OK. And we could see that this pin is flush, so we got that one in the right place. And the last one is going to be, we hit mate. We want this to be concentric with this. Hit OK. It's in the right direction. So now we want this ring, zoom out, to be flush with this. And then we hit OK. And we can see that this is flush. So there's our 3 pins. We made again. Our 3 pins are in our spaces the way they should be. And we hit OK. So we have that assembled. Now we could simply just bring in a claw, connecting rod, and the 3 pins and do this on this side and on that side. We do it 3 ways. But what we're going to do is we're going to do a circular pattern, a circular component pattern. And we want 2 extra pieces. We want them to be 120 degrees, it says. With 3 pieces total. And we pick here, we pick our, we want this to be around the axis. We're looking for view, temporary axis, display. Let's close this for a second. So view, display, temporary, hide show. Okay, here we go. Oh, there's a temporary axis right there. All right, so now, now that we have our temporary axis, we can go back to our circular pattern. All right, so we want this to revolve around temporary axis right there. We want this 3, so you can see that this is starting to appear for us, 120 degrees. Components, we don't want the center post. We want this guy, this guy, this guy, this guy, and that guy. All right, so we have all 3 of these. So we want this to be 120 degrees. 2, 0, 1, 2, 0. Okay, and then we hit OK, and we just duplicated this in the 3 dimensions. So we hit File, Save. You can see we can move this, move these down, and this moves back and forth. Our claw works just fine, and we're done. Make sure you save it.